Oh my god. Jesus. What did I watch? What did I watch? Oh yeah. Birds of Prey. Or the Fantabulous Emancipation of one Harley Quinn. Look guys, before I start this, I'm gonna say one thing clear. I will not go into I will try to not go into any of this woke feminist bullshit that this movie has been promoting during this whole thing, because that thing is kind of very tiring. And that was technically the whole thing that was invading technically the news, the article, the YouTube, and it's pretty sickening. And especially for a movie that they kind of didn't came out, and I was like, what? At least let me see the movie first. So yeah, I got sick of that. But still, I can see why people they were kind of fearing the whole this movie, and mostly because the trailer wasn't exactly avant-garde. Also because it comes from the hands of probably one of the worst DC Universe movies that there is, which is none other than Suicide Squad. Personally, I really disliked Suicide Squad. I really hated this movie, that movie. Although for the benefit of the doubt, I think Batman vs Superman was the worst. But man, I do have still some issues with the Suicide Squad thing. And when this movie trailer came out, the first thing that came into my mind is that why, of all these things, you, the producer, will want to come back to something that is, for the majority of the people, really dislike. I mean, yeah, I think I don't know if it did kind of like the money that it got, and of course it won an undeserved Oscar for best costumes. And basically, yeah, we got the Birds of Prey, and which is basically kind of like a Harley Quinn movie, which also upset many comic book fans because, well, they didn't feel like it was the Birds of Prey movie that they were expecting. And I get it. They do have the rights to be angry, and their arguments is technically legit. I can't take the whole side, because, well, to be honest, while I'm a big fan of Batman and the comics, I don't entirely read everything. I haven't read the Birds of Prey thing, and I'm really kind of on the blank on this one. So we could go a little bit for the basic knowledge that I do have of some of the characters, and I'll try to analyze this movie well as as best as possible as I can. And so I ignore all this media, although because of the rainy day, I did went to this movie theater in which not many people were there. And if I want to go for the articles, I don't know who to trust. Some people say that it lacks pre-sales. Other people say that, oh, it's getting good on sales. Some people say that, oh, the critics are loving it. Some people are. I don't know who to trust. I'll say so. I'll give out my own opinion. And when I finally saw Birds of Prey, in which there were only like 6 people in that movie theater, what do I think about this movie? For me, this is probably I would say that it's my Serenity of the Year. I really want to dislike this movie. I really do. Because there are some things that I have some distaste for it, but I gotta give it credit that it got me entertained during the whole thing, which is something that is better than all the January films that I got. So I finally got a little bit of a fresh air of some entertainment, even though this is one of those movies that I find it really unhealthy on the type of cinematographic narrative that you're gonna get. But at the same time, there's things that you could say, well, I can forgive it. I can forgive it as because they were having fun. They were doing fine. But sometimes I think that it comes in a fine line when you gotta take a responsibility of having fun. And sometimes you have to be careful in a way, because even when you're playing games, you have to follow a certain measurement of rules, or else you're gonna end up hurting yourself or hurting others. Even if it is for the sake of just having fun. That's the way I could describe. But man, that once I got out of the movie theater, I felt that I wanted to have a drink. Mostly because this whole movie is pretty much kind of like a very, very stylized cotton candy action-packed comic. I will say that it's a comedy of actions that it's not exactly a superhero movie. It's technically kind of like an anti-hero movie. But okay, before I go, as you can see, the movie is basically called Birds of Prey. But despite being a movie that is about this group of, I think it is kind of like a group of female mercenaries / heroes in the DC universe. I'm not exactly sure. The movie wants to center a lot more on Harley Quinn. In this case, it's Joker's ex-girlfriend, and / girlfriend in other incarnations, of course. I understand. Harley Quinn is basically the fan favorite of the DC comics, and I understand why. She's pretty, she's cheeky, she is pitiful, let's say. She's indeed a pitiful character that you might be wondering what this girl sees in the Joker. He's a psychopath, and technically we feel pity on her because she was kind of like a psychiatrist who went along with the Joker, and she kind of got infatuated with him. But we also know that Harley Quinn is basically a big masochist. So, and I do like her too. And I can understand why there's a fan base of her, of a very, well, pitiful character. But right now I'm talking about, in this movie, in which they decided to make a movie in which Harley Quinn breaks up with the Joker, and she decides to become emancipated. So for her cry of independence starts by blowing up the chemical plant in which made her. Well, made her in the sense of the Suicide Squad. And but because now she broke up with the Joker, now everyone wants to get her. They want to kill her because, well, they say that, well, she's now a girl that she's not protected by the Joker, so. And then it catches the eye on this guy who he's known as he's known as Black Mask. He's played by Ewan Mcgregor. Oh, I'll get to that. There's this diamond conspiracy in which he wants to get the diamond, but it also involves Detective Montoya. There's also the Huntress and Black Canary. And that's basically the whole movie out of it. Yeah, at least the best I can summarize it. And let me tell you that there are some big problems with this movie, but there are some okay things that I could give it a pat on the head. What can I say about this movie's storytelling, which I do have a little bit of a problem, I'll say, because the movie technically, the movie kind of feels like it wants to play out kind of funny, and so sometimes, well, the pacing, well, is action-packed. Sometimes it kind of gives out a little bit of freeze frame, and the movie kind of wants to play itself cute and childish to reflect kind of Harley Quinn's personality that, I'm gonna go do this, and I do this, and I do this, and sometimes it takes me, well, I appreciate it, I feel that it kind of takes me out of it. Considering that I still have a little bit of a grudge against Suicide Squad and this whole DC universe that I particularly don't like. So unfortunately, this was kind of like something that this movie doesn't manage to fix in a way. Because, well, imagine that one of the biggest things that I do have with this movie is that it starts out with this animated intro, in which, yeah, it has technically the recent Warner Brothers cartoon style. The funny thing is that this is the only moment in which we see the Joker. But what baffles me, at least on a laughable level, is that the design of the Joker is nothing compared to the Jared Leto version. No, they took the basic Joker design, but not the Jared Leto, considering that this is a movie that is basically the sequel to Suicide Squad. But what makes it more interesting or more stupid is that we get kind of like the flashback cameos of Jared with Joker, but we only see kind of like the back of his head, and this is the Jared Leto version. So that was personally kind of stupid because, yeah, we know Jared Leto was an awful Joker. Even for 15 minutes, the guy couldn't hold up to being Joker, and but it's pretty sad when not even in animated form want to know that you have been the Joker. Man. Also, the story, yeah, is kind of what makes this movie kind of like narratively confusing is that for the first half of the movie, it goes like, for example, like first it takes a kind of like a good narrative, and then a person appears, and sometimes when Harley Quinn wants to have a narration, she kind of like, this guy is this name. What is his? Why this guy hates me? Because I did this to him. Sometimes he even kind of like doodles kind of like in it, and it feels kind of like the Scott Pilgrim versus the World thing. But I like it better on the Scott Pilgrim versus the World mostly because, well, at least Scott Pilgrim versus the World, it is aware that it making tributes to old retro video gaming sometimes. Also, I didn't exactly was a fan in which the movie, I don't know if people was making fun of it, but sometimes the movie kind of puts a stop with Harley Quinn kind of going into narration and saying like, hey, this happened 4 minutes ago. And I was like, ah. And then later it was like, this happened 1 week ago. Just to show us kind of like the background of another character. If they could have make fun of it, I would have accepted. But this is kind of like a very, very tiring trope out of it. Well, honestly, if you look at closely, the movie also follows a little bit of Deadpool 2 vibe, in which, yeah, it this movie tries to kind of give out kind of like a relationship between Harley Quinn and a girl that she finds. It's technically this girl who comes from a bad foster family, and she has to pickpocket, you know, everything she got to survive. And yeah, it's kind of like the kid of Deadpool 2. Except that this little girl is a little bit less likable because we know little of her. Well, I think it is time for me to talk about most of the acting. Unlike many people, I don't like Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. Hear me out. I know there's many people who like her as Margot Robbie. And don't worry, she's not a bad actress. She is having fun with the role, and she does it okay in this thing. But unfortunately for me, I don't see Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. I can't see her as Harley Quinn. Even in Suicide Squad, I was like, no, she's not Harley Quinn. So what are the things that is missing for Harley Quinn, for Margot Robbie? For one thing, I think that she needed a little bit more spice out of her. She kind of acted more like, if you have seen this movie, House of 1000 Corpse, she acts like the blonde girl, no, it's bad to say, but this is the kind of this is the kind of Harley Quinn I wish to see on Harley Quinn. Kind of like, again, the girl from 1000 Corpse, the House of 1000 Corpse. Because I wanted, a good Harley Quinn should be energetic and cheeky, at least in my opinion. And Margot Robbie doesn't do that. She's like, hey, I'm the bad guy. Kind of like this tanker vibe. Instead of, you know, hey, how's it going? Oh, man. She has to be energetic and playful and cheeky. She needed a little bit more energy. And also the other characters, well, they did okay, but there's kind of still like, you know what? You still don't have much of a personality, I'll say. They're just like, yeah, Montoya's like this, Huntress is like this, Black Canary, oh, I'm pissed about Black Canary. Not because of the acting choice, but she only uses her powers once. So much for a girl power, I'll say. Okay, scratch that. But if there's one... Oh, but before I go with one that. This movie has Victor Sass, by the way. As a little bit of a comic book nerd, his representation as Victor Sass here pissed me off a little bit. Because Victor Sass was, I think that they neuter him a little bit. Well, actually they neuter him. Victor Sass, he's supposed to be this psychotic murderer who he thinks that he's saving people by murdering them. And yeah, they got him, you know, that for every victim he kills, he makes a scratch on his body. But they didn't do it like that. He was more like a henchman and not a psychotic. Which the psychotic version makes him kind of like a more interesting villain. But speaking of interesting villain. Oh my god. Oh my god. Speaking of interesting villains. The main bad guy of this movie is this guy who, and the name escapes me his real name. It's kind of complicated, but he's known as Black Mask. He's played by Ewan Mcgregor, who he is basically this awful douchebag who he's going around giving out orders, going into his own hedonistic party. He's controlling almost everything. He orders people around. He orders even Sass to, you know, deface other people by cutting them with their faces with their knife and everything. But you know what? My God, that Ewan McGregor probably is the guy who actually saves this movie because his acting and the way he portrayed this character is amazingly laughable. This guy, the way he acts, it's like someone put him a shot of sugar in it. And he's like, oh, I don't know if this is overacting. No. You know what? One thing is overacting. And another thing is Ewan McGregor playing this dude that I know that they want him to make him look kind of like the most horrible, threatening dude that there is. And yeah, most of the things that he does is chilling and threatening. But I don't know, the way he does it and the way that he goes, it's like you're just waiting there for the moment that he's gonna explode. It's like he yelled out of his lung and saying, get on top of the table! Get on top of the table! Oh my God! And during this whole movie, I was just fixated, and also the way he goes around, he's kind of like, what will happen if he gets possessed by Jim Carrey, and he decides to act out 90s style Jim Carrey, kind of and dresses up like he's gonna go to the Coco Bongo in Miami Vice style, and he just decided that I just want to upstage Jim Carrey. Oh my God, I was kind of convinced that maybe this role was for Jim Carrey before Jim Carrey said that, sorry, I'm gonna be busy with Sonic the Hedgehog. So okay, who's another actor who can make it kind of like this face? Oh, well, how about Ewan McGregor? Oh my God, guys. You know what? Despite some things that I dislike about this movie, if there's a reason to watch this movie, do it for Ewan McGregor. I know that he probably flubbed it up with this woke speech during the press conference. Ignore that. Just ignore that, and just go and see that Ewan McGregor is probably doing this just to hide the fact that he was totally entertaining in this film. And yeah, he goes out in a bang. Figurative and literally. Oh man. At this point, I'm not gonna say much about Ewan McGregor. Oh God. Because it is, you're gonna see it for yourself how baffling his performance is. Okay, what are some other things that I want to say? Again, the story and the thematic and the movie is pretty much bare bones, I would say. You don't sink in with most of the characters, I'll say. And, well, the scenes with Harley Quinn are just kind of there just for... because you basically kind of know who Harley Quinn is. It's mostly because it's a Suicide Squad movie. And then it comes in a time in which she disappears and you're like, okay, so this is a Birds of Prey movie, not exactly a Harley Quinn movie. Oh, no, it's a Harley Quinn movie. I'm not very appreciative with Huntress, that kind of is like a wasted character. Detective Montoya, at first I was kind of like slapping in my face, saying that, oh my God, what did they did to her? Probably one of the most dignified detectives in the Batman mythos, being treated like shit by the police force. That is until I investigated a little bit that, well, yeah, she quit the detective police force because of the corruption, but I didn't know that the police force in Gotham was full of idiots, for lack of better words. But the way she's treated, I was thinking that this doesn't take out some dignity out of the character. And well, Black Canary, she does kind of play, with the being the chauffeur of the villain, and that she also is the one that takes care of the little girl. But in my head, I always knew that Black Canary is probably the one who is gonna marry Green Arrow. Correct me if I'm wrong. But we only see a little backstory of a few of those characters, and well, they're just there just to become filler, and again, those flashbacks were only there to be exposition, and that's it. Oh yeah, there's also Harley Quinn also has a hyena, a CGI hyena. Not exactly a terrible CGI, but my biggest question is, wasn't supposed that Harley Quinn has 2 hyenas? She has 2 instead of 1. So maybe they didn't have the budget to have another hyena in it. That's basically it. If there's also one thing that probably might get entertainment out of you, is the action scenes. The action scenes were technically a little bit, like the 80s Batman style. Although there was one moment in which you see in the trailer in which Harley Quinn kind of becomes coke out of her mind when she snorts coke, like bing! That moment, it came to my mind that episode of American Dad in which Roger snorts out cocaine and he begins to kill off all these drug dealers and all this stuff. The funny thing is that during this whole fight scene in which Harley Quinn coked out, out of sheer laughter that I just wanted to laugh out of my mind, I just kind of imagine Steve running around, just screaming, "Lávate las manos! Lávate las manos!" Kind of like that episode. Oh yeah, I do also want to say that this movie's humor is pretty hit or miss. You're either gonna like it or not. For example, during the beginning and the end, Harley Quinn has a fixation to probably the most delicious egg sandwich you could ever seen. Although sometimes it falls out, into the awkward moment in which they say something and the only way to end up the punchline is like, "Oh, cool." I don't like these kind of humor because it kind of proves that you don't have a punchline. Or sometimes you must not say anything to say a punchline. You just let the joke sink in. That's a little bit of my recommendation when you write about these kind of things. Okay, the end again. The climax was okay. That's it. I will say I'm not gonna go too harsh on this movie. I'll say certainly is a little bit better than Suicide Squad. To be much fair on it, but honestly, I don't think that this movie is gonna surpass the better ones like Wonder Woman or Aquaman or even Shazam, in which, in my opinion, Shazam is the best of the DC universe. I still stand that DC universe should reboot entirely the whole this whole DC universe, cinematic universe, that it started out pretty bad, and it's not very keen with that, that they are continuing, with the Suicide Squad thing, and especially since no matter how much you try to hide it, we still know that the Jared Leto Joker the essence is still there. So yeah, if we want kind of like a better Joker, well, yeah, I prefer the Joaquin Phoenix Joker. And still, I think that Joaquin Phoenix Joker is probably one of the best DC Universe movies that there is. Considering that this is a movie that came out last year. So, by the way, people, no, I don't think this movie is better than Joker. Joker is a million times better movie than Birds of Prey. Still, it's not exactly pretty, something to cry about, saying that, oh, it's the world because it's all about women. No, it's not that. It could have been polished well enough in order to become a better movie. But as it is, it gave out a little bit of a better result compared to what Suicide Squad did. And with that, I hope that this emancipates my feelings to Suicide Squad and any other DC Universe movies. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. You still need to work harder than that, DC.